welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, as you will see what's going on our wonderful island of Fawnhollow today, where we'll be talking about, I don't know, what will we be talking about? I don't really have like a conversation topic in mind. What's going on in r/games? Oh, recently, I can't believe how I missed it. Like, it was one, I can't remember what episode it was, but I was like, oh, well, we talk about, like, check out r/games, nothing's happening. On that day, after that episode, I remember I checked r/games and I just saw a post, Vum's Fighting Herds is stopping updates, and I was like, what? No way. I like Vum's Fighting Herds as a game, but well, I maybe I shouldn't say I like it as a game as much as I like it more as a concept of a thing, because fighting games are very difficult to get into. The only ones I've particularly gotten into is Skullgirls, but even that is not like to an extreme degree or anything. But good evening, everyone. Right now in Fawnhollow, it's 11:04 p.m. on Tuesday, November 28th, 2023. It's sad, if anything, because watching Vum's Fighting Herds, if you didn't know, actually originated. No, it didn't really originate from My Little Pony, but it's more like the origin of, because if I say originates from it, it makes it sound like it was a My Little Pony game to begin with, when it's not really. It's more like it was a My Little Pony fan game, which then got DMCA'd, and then the creators went on to make their basically full-fledged game. So it kind of is, kind of isn't. It just kind of depends on how, I suppose, you take the framing of it. But following it for ages, I must have followed it for more than a decade or something. Yeah, I must have, because it was pretty early, I suppose, into fandom. And I started watching, I think, when I was like 12 or something. But basically, at this point, it's basically just like a fighting game where you play as animals, like usually four-legged, like ungulate-esque creatures. Which is cool, to be honest. I think it's novel, it's unique. But the best part of Vum's Fighting Herds is not, to me, the aesthetics and the characters and that sort of thing, or it's necessarily style. Apparently it's a very polished fighting game, to be perfectly fair as well. I'm not that knowledgeable about fighting games, so I'm not really going to deign to comment on it. But the best part about Vum's Fighting Herds to me was 100% the dynamic music system. What a cool concept to put into a game. If you don't know what it is, it's basically every single character in their game, well, every single stage has a theme, like full stop. Like some melody, some harmonies, etc, etc. But every single character in the game also has a thematic, like a musical motif to go with it. Like Arizona, who's like the country farm girl, has like a country thematic, like she's got, and with a sprinkling of like electric rock guitars, I suppose, in her musical motif. And then Velvet has a lot of like very light sounding, like kind of like mildly electronic synthesized like beats with like the sleigh bells and that sort of thing. I'm trying to remember who else has what. I don't really remember, to be perfectly honest, but it's things like that. Each of them has their own like musical motif and musical motif, and it melds, I suppose, with the stage theme. So if the stage theme is like do 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 do, like if you have Arizona on it, you'll hear like a subtle electric guitar going like or something in the background. But the thing is, the music reacts to basically how well you're doing. Like, if you are winning as Arizona versus Velvet, like, the electric guitar becomes more empowering, and it becomes even more powerful. It's like, and if you're absolutely dominating, it's the only thing you'll hear, and you'll just basically get Arizona's version of the theme. And then if it's more like evenly matched, you'll get like elements of both of them coming in. And then like if you swing the tide, you'll get like a more intense version of the other one. It's like, that is so cool, and it's seamless when you play the game. And it's what, by far and away, I say this every single time I hear it, one of the coolest mechanics I've ever seen in a game, and it just goes hand in hand with a fighting game. Like, doesn't it just, like a 1v1 fighting game? Like, how awesome is it to be like, doing really well in a fighting game, and then suddenly like your themes, it's not even your theme, it's like the stage starts playing your music. You're like, yeah, this is my character, I'm rocking it. It's amazing. Obviously, it makes an exponential amount of work for if you release more characters, because every single character you release now has to have their version of every single stage theme, which is insanity, I might imagine. Which is probably why they stopped it after the first 6 characters, I think. But it, by far and away, is one of the coolest ideas I think I've ever heard of. And you know what's even cooler is the fact that Teamfight Tactics, they released their new step recently. It's I can't remember what it's called. Hold on, what's it called? TFT Set 10? Remix Rumble, that's it. Where it's all very music themed, because they have League of Legends, Riot Games, they have a new virtual pop group, being released. You had KDA, then you had True Damage, and now you've got Heartsteel. Well, a very infectious, catchy song. But yeah, the whole thing is like music themes. So like all the champ. If you don't know how you play TFT, basically all the champ, you have like little token units, and they automatically fight each other. But each of the token units has like a trait associated with them and a class associated with them. So like they'll have like properties associated with them, and the more properties you have within units in your team, the stronger like team synergistic effects you'll get. Essentially, you'll get buffs for having more synergy. But the really cool thing that we've done is they've basically kind of introduced that system as well into the this teamfight tactics set. It's a little bit different. It's not as much like a 1v1 thing. Well, I mean, they might have it as a 1v1 thing, but basically there's an overlying music melody, the game music, which plays. But depending which properties you have like activated in your team, changes up the way the music is played. And then if you have mix and match, I suppose, your melodies, it means they sort of like overlap their different thematics together. So you have like disco giving you like a funky beat or something like that, and then you can have like EDM giving you like a heavy like synth and drums or bass or something. So, I don't know why I went synth first. This is electronic in my mind, and it's like that's really cool. Look, that's genuinely really cool. The only thing that would be cool is if instead of having the one game music, we had like 3 different variations, which like switch between randomly or something. But that's such a cool idea, which I love. That, you know, any game which I suppose messes around with music in that sense, you know, it's fantastic in my eyes. It's an underappreciated part, I think, of video games is music. It's sort of a thing which people definitely feel when it's missing, but people don't actively pay attention to when it's there and popping, unless it's like really popping, you know. And I bring it up every single time because I'm just like, I love those musical mechanics that they put in games. It's not like, you know, music being tied together with the mechanics or reacted to mechanics. It's not something you see all that often. I mean, you often get reactive things of like sound cues or whatever playing in a game. You know, I mean, the most obvious when you're playing a horror game, you get like a horror sting when something like jumps out or spooks you, you know. But having it be like fully reactive, and I don't know, I think I just love the one in Them Fighting Head so much is because it just goes so hand in hand with reinforcing the gameplay elements of it itself, you know. Not only is it a cool system, it's a cool system which synergizes incredibly well with the gameplay loop in the first place, which is just like, that's fantastic. Obviously the scope of it is just absolutely insane, you know, and I can't even imagine what, like, I remember they used to make actually blogs, game dev blogs, I suppose, about their progress on the game, you know, back way when. And the person who did the music system back then, I think they're called Rainbow Crash 88 or something like that. I don't know if they're still making music. Should we look them up? They're the one who made the original themes or something, but they used this like software, I think, to be able to freely switch between like the different elements of the song that's being played. Rainbow Crash 88. I wonder if any other game since then has done it. No, they just got Them Fighting Head stuff. Stuart Ferguson. Tofu theme. Don't know what was it. Don't play that out loud. Haven't updated their YouTube in ages. Do you have a Twitter? You do have a Twitter. Let's see if you've been posting on Twitter recently. I just want to know if you're active, you know. 2018. Not for a long while. Who knows? Maybe he went off to do his own thing. His own greater things. Actually, this is where we can see the main 6 dev team. See their announcement about them Fighting Heads. Character 10. 3rd character from Season 1 pass. I didn't know that. Oh, they do have a new character. No, hold on. Mitra, I know that. There's another character. Another Tianhua. By her. Interesting. Anyway, sorry. Yes, what was I saying? I probably got a low battery warning. I did see that my Joy-Cons are running low in battery when I started up, but there was probably too much idling in the menu screen, to be honest. It just is cool, dynamic music, you know, reactive music to doing things. Like, I don't know. It's a shame that the games stopping. I feel like I've spoken about this music system like so much, I think. But I mean, it'd be cool to have things be like reactive to what you do, you know, like. Here's a question for you, a theoretical question. If you could have your own theme music. No, hold on. I'm trying to think how to phrase this question. Background music constantly going on for your entire life that reacts to whatever's going on in the world around you. You know, you're having a bad day, sad music plays, you're having the best time of your life. It's hype, happy music all days. You know, you love at first sight, you have your first kiss or something, and it's like a romantic blossoming of orchestral choirs singing, things like that. Would you push a button? You know, you have background music reacted to your life, but you can't turn it off, that sort of thing. I don't know. I feel like sometimes I certainly would want like peace and quiet, and I like to think that if I had background music, it would be reactive to me being like, "Oh, you're ill. Oh, we can't get you medicine, though. Sorry, Amelia." Sorry, there's like a frog in my throat. It's the sort of thing where like well, at least for me personally, there are times when I'm concentrating on things where I don't play music. You know, actually, most of the times when I'm trying to like focus or concentrate on something, I don't play music. So I'm just like, music is too distracting for me, which is, you know, strange to say because I don't consider myself a bad multitasker. In fact, I think I'm a pretty good multitasker. But I guess it's sort of just like me, you know, normally I just like spread my energy out doing like all the things, and then it's like, oh, you know, I need to focus. Okay, rear in everyone. You know, we're getting a whole entire squad into laser focus on whatever this thing is. So I don't know, would I take it? I honestly, I probably would take it. Maybe that's something I would regret, you know, come 60 years old when I've got like tinnitus or something. Or maybe I'd appreciate it more then, you know, because maybe it would drown out the sounds of like the ear screech for tinnitus. But I don't really know. I don't know why this random memory came to me, but I don't think it will ever come up again conversationally. But I remember just once in biology class, we had quite an older woman as a biology teacher, and she was just like walking around, and she thought like another student, let's call him like Carl or something, was like called a name. Said, "Did you say 7 Carl?" It's like, and he was like, "No." And she was like, "Oh, you know, my hearing's getting to me. This must be with tinnitus or something." I remember the teacher walking past, and then like Carl's friend sitting next to him was just like, "What's tinnitus?" And, you know, looked over at me, and I was just like, I don't know why I remember this. I remember like gesturing to my ear and just mouthing it's an ear problem, a hearing problem or something like that. And then Carl's friend was just like, "Oh, is that a hearing problem, miss?" And then she was like, "Oh yeah, very good, Carl's friend." And I was like, and I gave him the thumbs up. We were just like, yeah. Look at that. You won't be like, "Oh, I wonder where that story was going," or you're going to be like envious that they stole your credit, I suppose, for knowing what tinnitus was. And I'd be like, no. I don't really care that much. If anything, it was cool. I don't know. It was a nice, like, amusing, you know, slice of life moment, just sort of between us. How's that person doing? I've got no clue. He really, really loved photography, so, you know, I hope he's become a photographer now or something. Anyway, sorry. Where am I going with this? That's a good question. I was gonna say, oh yeah, I forgot we had a visit today. Let's see who it is. Yeah, your own personal theme music and that sort of thing. Or your own personal background music. We should talk about theme music, like your own personal theme music. Some days are. You are Billy, I think. I think we've done your customization of Happy in Paradise. I do not remember what it is, but I'm pretty sure we've done it. Yeah, I think I would take just constant background music in my life or something. I feel like when I go to sleep, it could be like a nice little like, soothing lullaby, lo-fi chill beats. Honestly, actually, a lot of times when I go to sleep, I do hear like music in my head. Like, you might just be like, "Oh, you're just thinking about your song." No, like, I mean like subconscious music. It's a weird sort of thing where it's sort of like as I'm drifting off to sleep, I will hear it. And then when I try and focus on what the music is, it just like stops. It's sort of like you know, teenagers trying to have a party, and I'm like the mother, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm coming home now, kids." And I'd like open the door, and then it's just like they're just sort of like sitting there really awkwardly on the sofa, being like, "Yep, we weren't having a party or something." But I was like, "Really?" I was just outside, and I heard, you know, like dance monkey blasting through the window. I would say it's strange, but I'm also pretty sure it's just because as you're kind of falling asleep, you start, you know, getting to a dreamlike state. You start having like hallucinations isn't the right word. I guess dreams is kind of the right word, but hallucination sounds kind of funnier, doesn't it? You start getting hallucinations of like audio visual hallucinations and whatnot. It's a new bit I'm doing. Person who thinks going to sleep is just constantly hallucinating. Oh man, you know, last night I just went to bed and just, you know, hallucinated my entire for 8 hours straight. It was crazy. All my teeth fell out and everything. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it does kind of depend what sort of background music is. I think if it's like overly like overwhelmingly loud and like in your face, I'd be like, okay, that's probably not something I want 24/7. But if it's something like chill, if it's calm, it's relaxing, if it is actually genuinely reactive to what you do, I'll take it. I think it would certainly backfire in certain like very emotional moments, like if I'm trying to like have an argument, or not trying to have an argument, if I'm like trying to diffuse an argument or something, but you know, internally you're getting like quite heated up or something by it, you're just like, you know, you're getting kind of annoyed, but you're still trying to stay calm or something, you just hear like the rock music and metal music like building up in the background, you're like, all right, I'm gonna have my Gretzko moment or something. Probably not conducive to exactly how I like to operate, but still, I don't know, I feel like that's a nice trade-off. Not necessarily a nice trade-off, it's a fine trade-off. Yeah, and then the biggest thing would be to become a music producer, I suppose, and then create the music that you hear in your head constantly or something. I mean, I'm sure there's some musicians, artists out there who go like, that's what I do anyway. Like, whoa, I just make the music in my head, and that's honestly technically true. Oh, shooting stars. I spot some gym clothes. Okay, I guess this is Rowan's. Is Rowan awake? Did we walk into his house? I don't even remember. Can we pretend there are airplanes in the night sky like shooting stars? I could really use a wish right now. Wish right now. Wish right now. So Rowan is out and about. I don't think we've seen you today, Rowan. Yeah, I don't know. If it's like badly played music on a recorder, then I'd be like, okay, I'm definitely giving it a pass. I think I'll be amusing for like the first, I was going to say week. Maybe that's a bit too ambitious, I don't know. It'd be amusing for a little bit, I mean, I'd be like, alright, now I'm getting kind of sick of this. I'm getting sick of this, I'm getting really twisted. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I assume it's yours, it says gym stuff, maybe it's Apollo's. No, it's yours. Yeah, I don't know, constant background music, personal background music. I'll take it. If it's like, yeah, you had to choose a genre for it, what would I choose? I feel like I'd choose something orchestral or something, despite the fact that lo-fi I think is probably my most listened to genre nowadays. I think something orchestral just feels like orchestral is very flexible, isn't it? You know, you can have soft, lilting melodies and that sort of thing, but you can still have very intense crescendos, I suppose, for very strong moments in your life. Maybe that's a more interesting question if you had to choose a particular genre of music to be your constant background music, reactive background music for your life. Who knows? Anyway, I'm going to round this episode off here. So if you haven't been watching, thank you very much. Spend time across the new horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope you see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.